Hey, you hear me? Okay, let's get going. Hello everyone. Hope you're doing great. So, what are we talking about today? Who is here? So, Danny is already there. Welcome, Danny. Hello, Zainel. Who is here? What do you want to learn today? So, we're going to talk about reactive programming with RxJS. So, I just want to make sure that we have uh, like you know what we're talking about today. So and you have a bit of experience using it. So let's see. Volume up. Someone say volume up. Can you hear me? Okay, that's a good one. Is it better? Say that again. Yeah. Okay. So can you hear me better now? Okay, because the volume is quite up right now. And now is this better? Yeah. Okay. So just let me know if this is better. I'm just adjusting my volume. Oh, still too low. Okay, let me fix that. We have just talking in the mind to the mic. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. So is it better now? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I'm all up there. So we have a slight problem with the audio. Uh, so I just want to make sure that everyone uh, can hear me right. Yeah. Okay. Much better. Let me make sure that the mic is also at a pretty good. How about now? Much better? Can you hear me? Yeah, giving it another try there. Almost, yeah, good now. Very good. Now is great. Very good. So, thanks, people. Thanks for turning up. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about reactive programming, okay? So, it's the second part. So, during the first part, I spent time explaining things around observable. So, let me quickly during the first time I talk about things like observable, we talk about stream of data. Let me just make sure that this is clean. Stream of data, and we talk about things like producer, right? Or things like observer, right? These kind of things. There are many things that comes into that. When we talk about stream of data, I mentioned that you can see it. You can see. You can see kind of you can think in terms of collection, right? So that's the yeah, there is indeed a little bit of delay, so my apologize. We just dealing with technology right there, but we should be good, right? I can see that you guys are typing, so that's very good. So before I even go further, I just want to make sure that we start on the right foot. Who was there at the first session? Were you there? Say just, yeah, I was there. Because then I know that I know exactly where to start from. Otherwise, I'm gonna just take some things that we thought about last time and then build on top of it. So who was there? Just say, yeah, I was there. Oh, maybe you weren't. So then I'll make sure that I get you. I get you ready for this session, right? So we're gonna have about 40 minutes talking about streams, and then some good questions back and forth, and then we should be able to get things rolling. Okay. So yeah, Michael was there. Oh no, it's Michelle. Yeah, is there. Unfortunately, not Danny. No worries there. Have you used uh, like Danny? I'm just typing. Then it will probably be faster to get any feedback since we are a small group. Uh, yeah, so I'm just asking Danny if he has used RxJS before or any reactive programming tool before. Okay. So maybe some of you are actually getting introduced to Hackages at this point. So just a quick word about Hackages. We are a software company and we provide a lot of trainings around Europe to clients, and we have a consultancy part. And yeah, we build product, and it's really like share, inspire, and then keep learning every day. So and myself, I'm the founder and also one of the engineer at the company. So I'm in love with TypeScript. That's something you should kind of know if you watch the previous session or the previous videos. And I also like I also like everything about reactive programming, because I see the world as a set of reactive systems that just need to be connected with each other, right? So today I'm gonna show you again. I'm gonna talk about those streams and then get yeah, help you understand a little bit better what you can do with it. So let's talk about that. Let's jump. Yeah, let's jump quickly into the code. So as I mentioned, those are the things we talked about last time. So now let's talk about the fact that today we planning to talk about shared stream. So before even talking about shared stream, I'm gonna make sure that you understand the difference between a shared and a non-shared stream, right? That's where we're gonna start. So how do we do that? here above I have this interval thing. Let me make sure that we uncomment that, and so I can just say let's create a stream interval, right? And that interval here will just be we just call the interval function up there, right? Okay, my keyboard behave weirdly. So let's say, for example, each second, this interval is going to produce some stream, right? So let me open a terminal, and we should be able to see what happened when we do so. So I'm just gonna run this playground TS, yeah, that's the thing. Oh yeah, okay, sorry, I just need to go into the source and then playground, probably be much easier. Oh wow, okay, npx, no worries, it's just I need to do it a certain way. Yeah, so as you can see here, when I do so, there is nothing really happening because I'm not subscribed to this. So when I go here and then I say interval, then I want to actually subscribe to this. I'm just gonna pass a way to log all the information, and then I go like this. We should be able to see that now on the we have a stream coming at us, right? So what I'm explaining there is the difference between the share screen and a non-share screen, right? So, I'm talking about stream, obviously, right? So that, as you can see here, so now let's get a bit fancy right now. Okay, I'm going to pass some data here and then say console log, so it does data, and then just add the fact that this is the stream 1, right? So that's basically it here. So if I clean up that and start again this one, you will see that we have the stream 1 that started, or stream 1, and that's basically it. Now let me take a second stream. So I'll go here and then say I'm going to create I still have the same stream. So you see this is interval here, I have that interval, and then this other interval. So it's basically the same stream. They both come from the line number 6, right? So what I'm trying to do is basically saying I'm gonna call the same thing a second time, but then instead of saying stream 1 here, I'm just gonna say stream 2, right? So if I do so, let me make sure that we can run that here with this would probably be much better. So then it will just restart automatically, so we don't have to restart it again and again and again, right? If you have any question, please ask them right below. Oh yeah, it needs to add TypeScript into the thing, so would probably be much easier like that. Yeah, okay, perfect. So let's do this again. So that should take a few seconds, but then it should just be running. Oh wow, okay. It doesn't, the dev one needs to be installed locally, so I'm not gonna do it at this stage. So let's keep it like that and then see how it goes. So you see, yeah, stream 1 and stream 2, right? They're both if they both are getting data, but the question there is it the same stream or is it different stream that they each gets, right? So well, as you can see, they're actually getting a different stream. So each of them are subscribed to their stream, right? So you should think about it as I have you have a YouTube video that you're watching, and then someone also start watching that video somewhere else. Then obviously they're gonna start at a different time, so they will have their own stream, right? So the idea there that I'm sharing with you is the fact that this part, what we see here, it's basically like a non-share screen, so non-share and non-shared stream, and that you can call that as a called observable, right? Which means that it's only when you connect to it that you can have the data coming your way, right? So now the topic of today is basically talking about shared stream, right? So now let's kind of do the same thing, and then and then start using a shared stream. And then the idea there is, like with the shared stream, you can actually broadcast to many things, that you can broadcast the same information with many things at the same time, right? Which means that people get the data when they join, but they don't get the data from the beginning. Technically, it's like you go to a movie theater, and then when you arrive in the movie theater, you're 5 minutes late. Oops, sorry, you're 5 minutes late. So you're gonna start watching the movie with 5 minutes at 5 minutes in the time, right? So that's the idea of the shared screen. So how do you do that? In RxJS, there is a library, there is a function here called subject, right? So the idea of a subject is to basically you use it as a way to basically connect multiple things, and then you can push into the thing and you can consume from it. So we're gonna talk about subject and use it as a way to demonstrate this concept, right? So now let's say, for example, I have I'm gonna create let's say so let's say, how can I thank you, Danny. I'm just reading at the same time the info here. So let's say counter, right? So we create a subject here, and then we say we're going to create a new subject, right? So the subject, once again, I just want to make sure that you understand what a subject is. So the idea with the subject. So I'm gonna take my fancy drawing board so I can share with you. my drawing, and then you. So let me get that here. It is already up. So where is it? Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna have to pick it up again. Yeah, sorry, just gonna share that quick time. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna pick it up again here, so we should be able I should be able to share my my screen with you. Yeah, there we go. So much better. I'm gonna share with you my screen. Yeah, very good. So yeah, you should be able to see my screen right now with my drawing board, right? So what I'm sharing with you here is I'm just gonna explain quickly what's a shared thing means. So when I say subject here, what I picture is this box, and that box here has two things. So you have access to the fact that you can push things in here. So this thing here is a subject, right? So you can push things inside here, but you can also pull things from it, right? So the the fact that you can push things here is basically a way to say you have data, and then those data you push them like this in this thing here, and then when you pull them, the pulling part is basically saying you're subscribing to that subject. So that subject here can, at the same time, what you have, you can basically produce data, and the second part is you can consume those data from the same thing, right? The main difference there with an observable is the fact that an observable, right? So this is an observable. So what you have with an observable is you can actually pull things from it, which means that technically here you can consume data from it, right? So yeah, indeed, the observable job is to produce the data, right? And then you can consume the thing. So observable, usually what you do, you create a system, and then that system, people subscribe to it, and usually you're just not gonna be able to push data in that system if you weren't part of the entire building mechanism. And then with the subject, you have a different approach to go about it, where you can actually push things in there. So look, now if I go here and then I say I'm going back to the code, right? So what I'm going to do and basically say we have a counter, right? I want that counter there to be something that we multiple people can actually connect to it and then start consuming data from, right? So what I'm going to do here and then is just to say, okay, counter, let's we're going to push in that counter. So I'm just gonna say here next. So I want to push some information in this counter, right? I want to increase this a counter, and then just push that thing in there, and then I will subscribe. Some people will subscribe to it and be able to actually consume the data from it, right? Is that clear so far? Do you get you understand where we're going, right? I just want to get a thumbs up so far to check if you're still with me right there. We have a little bit of delay, so I'm taking that into account. So yeah, okay, good. Now let me continue here. Yeah, are you there? Yeah, okay, very good, people. So let's do this. So now what I'm trying to do there is basically saying like, okay, I have my share thing here, and I'm going to do like I'm going to say, let's, for example, in that thing, let's add I want to use the interval. How can I do this? What do you think I can do here to basically push data and then everyone can just go ahead and subscribe to it? Any idea? So my subject here is going to be something of type, it's just I'm just gonna share numbers, right? That's basically it. So let's say, for example, it starts at 0, and now on the other side you can now say like, okay, I have this counter, and you can subscribe to it. So what I just did here I'm pushing data into the stream, and here I'm consuming data from the stream. So that's the idea. So on this stream here, I'm going to pass an observer, right? Okay, so what am I doing with that observer here? I'm just saying an observer, what an observer does, it's basically an object that has a function next, and that next takes a value, and then we'll just say console log that value. It doesn't matter at the end. We just want to see what is happening here. So I have a function next. I have a function next in here inside my observer, right? And what you need to understand here, with what I'm doing, let me go back here and make sure that you still there with me. So what I'm doing there is basically saying, well, I have my function next, but you can add you have the observer takes more. Wait a second. You can have here. Okay, it's a bit slow like this. Okay, never mind. And now there is the next. You have the error. Okay, and then you have a complete here. Right, so let me make sure that, yeah, something is a bit sluggish on my computer, so let me make sure that it doesn't stay like that. Yeah, we have a little bit of delay on YouTube, so give me a second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. We should be back to normal. Let me know if you encounter if there is any issue, but it seems like the stream is a bit slow. So yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna quickly continue here. Yeah, we should be fine. So let me go here and then make sure that we have cancel that. Okay, I'm going to continue here and then we go along with that. So you can have the error, and then there is also a third function, which is the complete function, and that one you can indeed just pass that console log here, right? Completed, right? So but our focus isn't really on the observer, right? We shouldn't put too much focus on it. I'm putting my focus on in here, right? So for the sake of this demo, I'm gonna make it much easier. I'm going to remove those two functions because I'm gonna need a little bit of I'm gonna need other observer in there, right? So let me do this. Let's say this is observer 1, and then you get a second observer here. So this is second, and then we say here value observer 1. Okay, this is pretty slow, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing over there, and this one's going to be the observer number 2. All right. Oh, okay, no, that is actually 1, and then this is 2. Okay, so now I have my observer 1 right here, and then we're just going to say like let me yank that and then push observer 2 over there. So now think about, let's recap a little bit here. This is a pretty simple scenario, but what I'm saying there is, well, I create a movie, so that's my movie, right? And now I'm start streaming my movie, so pushing things on the pipe, and then have two attendees, two people watching the movie, right? So they subscribe to the movie. So which means that here, if I run this, I should be able to see that Eric says not gonna cannot find what I have a problem. Eric is creation. So what we have an error here that says yeah. Okay, so go back. Okay. What is happening? Yeah, okay, we have a slightly small error here. So why? So we have the subject. Yeah, okay, this one is good. This one is also pretty good. Not sure what is happening here. Okay, so let me make sure that we have yeah, we have a simple error somewhere, but I don't know what, I don't see it right away, but let's see what we have really going on here. Okay. Okay, okay, I forgot something. I forgot something here. So cannot find module and its corresponding type declaration. Ah, okay. So let me make sure that I just add type RxJS, which shouldn't be there, so not sure why. And then the subject indeed comes from here, so we shouldn't have an issue. So we create a subject, a counter, we create a stream, and then we have two people signing up for that stream. And then I have a typo here because it says that doesn't exist, but it should exist. Okay. Wow. Okay, so not sure what is happening, but can you see me here still? The stream is still ongoing. Okay. Because I'm receiving a message from YouTube saying that the connection isn't good. So let me know if there is anything that is not clear so far. But we have something not working for us right now. It's the fact that when I execute this, we don't get much coming from the subject. So why is it? So let me make sure that I clean that up again. And oh, okay, so I have this console log here, console log. This gonna be a silly message. I'm already seeing something really stupid that I've done, but I don't know what it is yet. So that's good. Cannot find RxJS. Yeah, that's not possible. Yeah, okay, thanks Danny. Let me give it a try. Yeah, so that's pretty good. It looks much better. Okay, but that shouldn't be the issue that we have, because it's just executing some code. Oh, okay. Not sure why this is doing this. Okay. I think I know. So let me go back up here. So yeah, live debugging, people. So we're just gonna make sure that we keep it. We keep the core message going. So let me make sure that this is right. Thanks, Danny. That fixed the problem there. So it says now, yeah, okay. So that's this part working. So That's really not what I want. I want to basically see how this counter is consumed over here. So and that should be like this. If I run that again, and I don't see any result because this thing isn't consuming anything. So what could be the issue? So we're pushing 0 and then we're not seeing the 0 maybe. Oh, okay, that's probably be the thing here. So let me go here. Well, okay. What is the issue? Why can't we see the value? Not sure that I understand why why we have that issue. So interval is working, but not the subject. So we create a new subject here, and then we were able to add some stream in it. And now we're trying to subscribe to it, and something isn't working. So yeah, let me open another terminal, because this one is not doing the work that I expect. So I'm going to add another dependency, TS node dev, because I feel that it's something related to the executor. So TS node. So let me make sure that I add this one instead. Okay, so I'm just adding TS node to make my debugging much easier. Package.json, and then here I'm just going to say let's add let's add a start debug, and I'm going to say here yeah, just put another command. So TS node with the flag, yeah, I can do this, then say we're going to use this one, and I can put a watch on watch here. So that should probably be much easier now. So let me go back here in the terminal, and I'm gonna say yarn start debug here. So it should be able to execute that, but then I didn't change the name here. I just copy and source playground TS. Okay, so sorry for that, and hopefully it's fixed. So we have this thing rolling, this thing is running now, and we don't see anything still. Why? Because the subscribe here should produce some data. So why aren't we seeing anything? Has been modified and nothing is happening. Oh, okay. And when I do this, I get something. Well, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you see the problem? You guys see the problem? This is going to be really stupid right now, like literally stupid, and that's something really simple. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, you see that? Yeah, I just didn't even look at it anymore. So you see the problem? So yeah, indeed, the things, the movie has already started, right? So let me clean up that. Thank you. I think now you see the problem there. So the movie has already started, and 2 people sign up. Okay, I got caught into my own explanation here. So sorry about that. So look, instead of doing this, I had to do this to make it work. Now it's gonna be much better, because now you can see maybe it's too small. where I'm just gonna make sure that you can see what is happening on the in the terminal. Where is my terminal? It's here. Yeah, okay. So let me clean that up and then start that again. So as you can see now, we have the two value shown right here, right? Because we were basically saying like, yeah, we create the data and then someone subscribe later. And no, you don't do that. You just don't do that. So let me clean that up and then make sure that we get observer 1 here and then observer 2 over there. All right, so this is coming together. No worries there, and hopefully we can also see here on this line that both are receiving the stream of data. Okay, so that's really important here. So let me quickly push, because what I want to show you here is the fact that, for example, we have they're both sharing the same stream, right? The same stream of data. So now I have two things. So now let me do this. I'm going to create a live stream of things here. So let's say we have a function that basically say, okay, here is a counter, and that counter starts at 0, and I'm gonna say like that counter for each second, right? Each second we're just going to call that counter and say counter plus plus, and the way I want to do that is basically taking the counter stream and then call next on it and then move this entire thing up here, right? So that's the idea. And now, as you will be able to see that they're both actually consuming the data on the right here, right? So that's basically it means that, yeah, no, see, now we have a stream ongoing, right? So the question, Danny has a question, is like, does it mean that it's not possible to subscribe to a stream after it has started? Well, yes, you can, because that stream, think about that movie theater. When you come later, you will get what is produced at the moment you join, right? So the way I can demonstrate that, I can create a third one, and I'm just gonna say set timeout, and then say, let me add a function here, and say after 5 seconds, right? So someone is late, right? So you just say after 5 seconds, let's add another person that connects here, right? So looks what's gonna happen. Let me clear that up so you can see what is happening. So I'm starting the thing, and then it goes, and voila, like the 2, 3. So they're basically connected, and then at some point you see there is a space in the middle here. So I can just say here, to make it easier, just say data, right? So you can see that someone was able to join later because they're actually on the same stream. They're sharing the same string. So here I'm going to say console log, and then pass the data, and then say I'm late. Okay, let's put it like this, and then say I'm late, and then I think, so you see, so if I go here and then clean that up a little bit and then share that again, you see that they start, so they're consuming, and then suddenly the one that's late start consuming the thing as well. But that's because the stream is still ongoing. So that's basically a shared stream, right? Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem before, as Danny is saying, that once we started, the data was already that stream was already sent. So if you weren't there to capture it, too late, you're late. That's basically it. But if there is a new stream coming later, a new data coming in that pipe later, you will still have access to it. So that's really an important thing there. So this is the idea of the shared stream. There are many ways to go about the shared stream. For example, now I shown you a subject, right? So there is another thing called a behavior subject, right? So the idea with the behavior subject is kind of the same. So what I'm saying here is I'm gonna comment out this one and then create right below another one. So here I'm going to say I'm gonna pass a behavior subject, and the idea of a behavior subject is like I can give an initial value, right? So let's say 200 to make it like 2000 to make it really big, right? So what I'm going to do there is to say, well, okay, when people connect, oh, sorry. Yeah, so sorry for the mistake before. It took us a little bit of time, but we're gonna get there. So what I'm showing you here now is the fact that if you read that code really well, what it's basically saying, it says when the stream starts, we're gonna start with something already. We're gonna start with like an initial value, right? But that doesn't solve the problem of like if you come late, you can still have access to things that were sent before. What it's just saying is like, well, when the whole movie start, let me first put the ads, right? The 2000 there is like you go into a movie theater, what they do is like before the movie starts, so that's the idea, they're gonna put an ads just to sell you whatever you want to buy. By the way, we also provide this as a training. See, that's a ads, right? But I did that during the session, not before. The idea here is like you receive that right at the beginning. So when I start this, okay, let me go back here. So see, it starts with the first observer 1 and 2 takes first the 2000, and then they start consuming the stream that is generated, and then the one that is late will still, the behavior will still be the same, but they just start with 2000. However, I can say like, well, I want, instead of using a behavior here, because JJ asked if there is a variant where I can basically store previous iteration. Yeah, it's called replay subject. And now with replay subject, what I could do, I can go here and then say, let me have a replay subject. So let me comment out this part, right? So hopefully you can still see and it's still readable. So here, instead of a behavior subject, I'm gonna use a replay subject, right? And now I can say I want to record the first 2000. I want to record the first 2000 iteration, so which means that if someone comes late, they will still be able to first consume the first 2000. Usually they receive that as one block, poof, and then they start consuming exactly where the other people are. You see the difference there? So let me put it for you here. Let's say I'm gonna put 5 seconds. I'm gonna put the first 5, or let's say the first 6. So guess what's going to happen? Observer 1 and 2 will just start right away, and then observer the one here, the one who's late here, will first consume the first 6 before it start receiving the same stream as the other. So let's see that here. Look, I'm just gonna run that. Boom. So observer 1, so 2, 3, 4, and then the other one that was late is able to first get 1, 2, 3, 4. You see this? It gets first that. well, let me make sure that we're not going anywhere. You see this? It's going to get the first 4 because it's supposed to start 5 seconds later. So 5 seconds later, and then this one says replay the last 6, right? So basically, if here I, for example, say start in 8 seconds, right? So what's going to happen is, sorry, go here. So you guess it. What's going to happen? It will just go like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then 8 seconds. It's gonna start with the last 6. It will take literally the last 6, and then it start from the 7th. From that point on, it start consuming the same thing that everyone else, right? Got it? You understand that, JJ? Does that answer your question? So the point there is this is the idea of a share screen, a share stream. But there are many other variants that you could use. To actually share stream between observable, right? In one of the session we did on this YouTube channel early in April, so you can find that on our YouTube channel. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. Click that button. We're creating great content, and we hope we will be able to keep pushing it as hard as possible in the coming months. So support us by subscribing to the channel. So that said, in one of the video you can find I built an Angular application where I use Stream to basically connect every single thing in the app, right? And the idea there was, how can you build an entire web application that is one huge stream, and then there is actually no one subscribing but a backend subscribing to it. It's one of the YouTube thing that we did in the past, one of the video we did in the past. So you have an idea of how this whole mechanism work so far, right? Now, I'm gonna take you into a challenge to close the session, because it was supposed to be just 1 hour, so we had a little bit of issues, but I think what I'm about to do will take 10 minutes. So if you have more questions, just keep asking. And stay with me, because this is gonna blow away your mind. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. That's gonna blow away your mind. So stay with me another few minutes, right? And ask your question if you have any. So look what we're going to do. I'm going to revert back to a subject, right? I'm just gonna use the subject version here, and then move it right below, so we can make some room and then see exactly what we have with the subject, right? So cannot read property 7. Yeah, what's that? Never mind. So I'm going to keep it. Oh, well, what is the problem? Yeah, so that's good. That's pretty good. I think there is no problem. It's just Wallaby complaining. So yeah, so it's just my the Wallaby thing, the ID that I use that is kind of complaining here, the plugin that I'm using. So now let's go back and explain a little bit the challenge here. Look, you see that line here? That line is basically saying, I'm gonna create a shared stream, right? So it means I'm gonna create data, and then people will subscribe to it, and when they start subscribing to it, they will get data as the stream is progressing, right? My idea there is to say, on the top, we're using the library RxJS. My idea is to actually comment out this as we did last time, and then to make sure that this code is still working. right? So then you understand a little bit under the hood what is happening when you build what basically a shared stream does at the basic level, I will say, because there are more things that go into building a stream, right? So my point there is to say we're gonna create a subject by hand. So I just want to get a feel of you're in for that challenge. Like, challenge accepted. Just write that down there, that challenge accepted. I'm not doing it. I'm not writing it until I see people say that they have accepted the challenge, because I'm not doing it. You will be doing it. So go ahead. There is a little bit of delay, so I expect like a 15-second delay, but until you say challenge accepted, I'm not jumping there. Okay, it's coming, it's coming. Come on, people. Yeah, okay. Getting there. Okay. So JJ say easy. Uh-huh. Okay, so you just said challenge accepted, which means that maybe you can do that yourself. Maybe the session is over, then you're gonna have to do that yourself. Who else? Come on, people. You can do that. Who else wants to do that challenge? Come on, 2 people only? Out of 19 people? Okay, seriously? Okay, I'm gonna add one more, so at least we have already true challenge accepted. Come on, that makes 3. Who else? Okay. You're shy. Your computer. You're actually having food in your hand, so you can't really talk. No, so that's okay. No problem. So let's do this. What is a subject? Right? As we can see here, we're creating a class, like new subject. So let's do this, right? So we're just gonna say this is a class, right? That's it. So this is the way you create a class in JavaScript, right? So now that class could be, we can say here, it's like a number from time to time. So let me add a generic here, right? So that's already one thing. Now we can see right below that people can subscribe to it, to the instance, right? So which means that we need to have a subscribe method in there, right? So what is that subscribe? What that subscribe does? Yeah, so we have the subscribe, and then subscribe takes something called an observer, right? So let me call an observer here, right? So we're gonna use the typing a bit later, but as we can see, there is an observer, and now we also have a next here. Well, that instance has a next. Well, so okay, so let's add a next function here. So now what's the next take? It takes some data, but do we really care? Or let's call that value, and it's of type any here at this stage, right? That's the idea, right? Now if we run this, nothing happened, right? So something saying like subject is not defined. Yeah, okay, subject is not defined. Yeah, okay, I didn't save that file, so that's why it's saying that. But as you can see, if I go back here, technically nothing is happening, right? So we need to do a little bit of work there to make it work, but to make this code to make it functional, right? So my point there is to say we have a class. when we create an instance, we can subscribe to it, and we can push things in the thing, right? So that's it. So now, what is happening when we subscribe to it? Should then value be of type T? Good point. Good point. We're getting there. Very good. Very good. Thanks, Danny. So that's a good point. Yeah. So we're almost there. Literally, we're almost there. I'm not kidding. So, observer. Let me give you a quick thing here. An observer, we're gonna create an interface called observer, and that interface has a function next, right? And technically, you can say an observer is gonna have a value, and then that value is of type T, and then it's gonna return. We don't really care about what it returns. So here I can say this is something of type T as well, right? Because that's the thing here in the value next, right? So and then here, this is an observer, right? So that's basically what we have so far, right? And it's of type T. Yeah, that's pretty good. Someone is writing code here. Subscribe can execute a callback for us. Subscribe can execute a callback for us. Oh, really? Oh, how? Because here I have subscribe. I'm passing an object. Yeah, indeed. That is correct. That is completely correct. JavaScript Vit. Nah, it's weird to say that, but that's your name. So it is correct. But at this stage, I want to stick to the version that only has that takes an object, because at the end it's the same. It's just in the implementation behind the scene that they say if you pass a function, then they turn that function into a next. If it's an object, they just call object.next, right? So that's the idea, right? But we're almost there. We're literally almost there, right? So yeah. So what is missing there? So don't mind the red thing here. It's just normal because I expect other things like error and stuff like that, and we don't really care about those at this stage, right? So good. Now we just want that thing to work here. So what is happening? I'm gonna go quickly on this. When we subscribe, we're passing an observer, right? What is happening with the thing is like here we have 1, 2, and then a third observer, right? So what I have here, if I go back just a few steps earlier, what I have here, it's basically saying this is also an observer, right? So let me take that here and then call that observer number 3, for example, and then I can I can just create an observer number 3 here. And then instead of calling it like this, I can just say this one is an observer and that has a function next, right? So that's the idea here, and then I can say observer number 3, right? So as we can see here, we have 3 observer. So for at each iteration, what we want to do is basically to say when we subscribe to be able to share the thing, what we want to do is each observer should be stored somewhere. We need to keep track of the observer, the listener, right? So what you do here, you just say, I'm going to create an observer, a list of observer, right? So it's basically an array of observer. That's basically what you want. And then you just say like this one can start at with an empty array here. And here we can say, we know they're gonna be of type T, right? So which means that each time you say observer subscribe, technically what you're doing, you're just saying this dot observer, and then you just push the observer inside that list, right? So you're just adding it in the list of the observer, so of the people that listen, right? So and then whenever you say next, you just say this dot observer. Since an observer has a function next, so you just call the here I just need to loop through them and then take each observer from there and then call the observer with the next why is this saying next here? Yeah, so you just pass the value that was called here, right? And as you can see, our system is working. Ta-da-da! Yeah. See, here is the code. I'm just gonna make it available again here, but I want you to see this. So just isolate that and make sure that that's the only thing you see. So think about that for a second. What do we have? This is what we have. Questions? Okay, for the fancy JavaScript developers out there, you can also do something like this, right? I see you, Jawad, I see you. Now that you know how this thing works, so you will be doing it like this, and then say observer like this. Yeah, that's what you will do versus that, but that doesn't change much here, right? So what I'm trying to show you is this implementation, and then realize that this is how a subject could be designed. Oh yeah, JJ, yeah, that's, I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's useless. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's important to understand what is happening under the hood. I would like to drive a car, but I would also like to know how the engine in that car works. So then if it breaks, I can fix it. Or if I want to optimize stuff, by understanding how the engine works, then I can go ahead and do so indeed. Right? Okay, so that's it. That's it for today. I don't have much. I just want you to realize that this is super simple, and then from there you can actually start building some crazy shit with RxJS. Really, I'm not kidding. So as a closing note, if you have questions, please go ahead. Then I'm gonna explain you a little bit the next step from here. Yeah, and RxJS is an amazing tool. It encapsulates all these things already for you, so you don't have to deal with them. But the most difficult part usually is to know which one to use, which operator to use to get your job done, and that's gonna be one of the session during the month of June. We're gonna spend time explaining a little bit which operator should you use for which scenario, right? We're going to cover about 5 to 10 of them in one session. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can do that. That could be a way to go. Yeah, so here is the next thing that's coming for us in the coming in next week. So if you're a GraphQL aficionados, you're gonna have an amazing guest tomorrow, next week, next Thursday at the same time, by the name of Uri. So you can just Google him. He's called Uri Gogenstein, and he's an amazing software engineer. He worked on the subscription implementation of GraphQL. So if you use GraphQL and you use subscription, that guy was there. He was working on that thing, and he's gonna come next week to talk about GraphQL Mesh. It's a tool his company has built, and it's really awesome. And yeah, like every Thursday at this time, you will be learning new cool stuff, and beyond cool, you can take those knowledge and go and build awesome apps out there as you're doing. And then we're gonna keep pushing content on this YouTube channel. So if you have any idea of things that will be interesting for you to learn, or to show to even though you know them, but you want us to do a demo for the community, yeah, go ahead, comment on the video and let us know what will be interesting for you to learn, and we're gonna make that happen. And we have an amazing thing that we've built. I mean, we built something really at the company that we're going to share with you in the coming weeks. So I urge you to go on hackages.io and then subscribe to the newsletter, because game changers don't come around often. And as a founder of the company, I'm excited with what we've built and how that's gonna impact positively the way you learn. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe there. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, and yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming, and yeah, I will see you next week. I mean, Uri's gonna see you next week, but I will be there with him. And yeah, Haskell Basics. Oh, okay, Haskell Basics. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Wow. JavaScript talking about Haskell. In which world are we now? That's incredible. JavaScript Vit is asking for Haskell Basics. Yeah, but then we're gonna have to. Well, it's possible actually. It is possible. Yeah, I did Haskell programming for a few years, so no spoiler. No, we're not giving anything away. No. No, not giving anything away at all. Okay, thanks Bruno, thanks JJ, and I'm really sorry. There's that little. It wasn't a bug. It was right there. It was right before me. Like you subscribe after the data were already pushed. So yeah, was a good catch there, and it was actually planned to me asking you what is happening, and then you will obviously get lost, and some people will be like, you didn't do it right, and myself, I felt into my own trap. So sorry. Okay, cool people. I see you next week, right? Cheers, subscribe, and see you next week. We have great stuff coming. I'm really not kidding about this. So cheers people, with a lot of love. See you next time. Bye.